Hi, my name is Alyson Brown, and I'm going to take you through a mask making demonstration in support of Alex's Team Foundation and Spirit Month. As many of you know, Alex's team continues Alexandra's fight against pediatric cancer. So I look forward to having you join me tonight as I make masks, and then I encourage you to donate them as a gift to families who are currently experiencing this fight. So let's get started. So the materials you'll need for this project are two pieces of cotton fabric or cotton blend fabric. My choice, I've got 7 inches by 9 inches here. You can tailor that to fit your face if you have an adult, or if you have a child, you might make it a little bit smaller. Two pieces of 7-inch elastic. Again, you can make that a little bit smaller if you have a child. If you're going to sew this by hand, you'll need a needle. You'll also need thread, pins so that you can pin it while you're pleating, and then you need an iron and a sewing machine. Okay, so I'm sitting at my sewing machine. I've got the two pieces of fabric here. You're going to take the two pieces of fabric and you're going to put them right sides together and match them up pretty evenly. And then I'm going to take just a couple of pins and just pin them so that they don't move around while I'm working. So you can see I've just pinned them like that. And then I'm going to take my machine and I'm just going to use straight stitches for this so it's a little bit easier. I'm going to start in the middle on the bottom. You know, you can start on the side. It's totally up to you, whatever you choose. And I give about a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And you're going to start sewing. And then don't forget you're going to back stitch. And the reason for back stitching, my back stitch here is on my machine. The reason for back stitching is just so that you can secure those stitches so it won't come undone. So you're going to sew when you get to the corner. My machine, I put the needle down and then just turn it so you get a nice tight corner. So to the next corner, again, about a 1/2 inch from the corner, turn it. About 1/2 inch from the corner, and then turn it. And now we're getting to that last side, and you'll see right here is where we started. And I'm going to sew and maybe leave about 3 inches open, and that is so that we can turn it right side out. Okay, so we're going to sew that. And when you get to the end there, you're just again going to back stitch just to secure those stitches. Then you pull that, use scissors, and just cut that. So then all of the sides have been sewn except for that one side where I'm going to turn that right side out. Before I turn it right side out, however, I'm going to clip the corners. And if you can see that there, you've got the tight corner there, but I'm going to clip those corners. Be careful not to clip the stitching. Clipping the corners is going to help when you turn it right side out so that those corners can be much cleaner. Okay, then you're going to take those pins out, and I'm just going to clip this thread. I'm a little bit fanatical about getting those threads clipped. All right, and then you're going to take this and you're going to turn it right side out. And like I said, when you clip those corners, it's really going to help you get those corners nice and pointed. You see how you can get that? And I'm just using my fingernails and I'm just getting that nice and open right there. And you're going to do that with all 4 corners. You see that? And the last one right there. Okay, so you've got it turned right side out, and there's the opening right there. So we're going to stop for a moment. We're going to go over to the ironing board, and I'll meet you over there. Okay, so here we are at the ironing board. I think the 2 biggest tips that I can give you to having a successful final product is pinning and ironing. I think that really gives you a nice final product that's going to be much more professional. So I'm right here just ironing this flat so that we have a nice crisp edge there. Okay, you see that? Nice and flat. And the next thing we're going to do is pin. We're actually going to pleat this. So if you see here, I'm folding it down, and you're going to need pins for this. And I pin it on both sides just to make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, then you're going to roll it down and add a second pleat. You see that? And again, pin that on both sides. Make sure that's nice and secure. And then I'm going to roll it down to a third pleat like that. Okay. And then pin that to make it nice and secure. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. So that. Okay. And you can always iron that down if you want. If you want to make those a little bit more secure, you're welcome to do that. Now we're going to head back over to the sewing machine. Now, there are a lot of different ways of making masks. I'm sure you can find patterns online. You can, this is a simple pleated mask, and I've made hundreds and hundreds of them. And I found that this one is so quick to work up, which is why I like to use this particular pattern. So I've also got my 7-inch elastic strips here. And I'm going to use those as I sew around the edge this time. So I'm starting, remember the open edge here, I'm starting there, and I'm going to sew a little bit closer to the edge this time. So again, you're going to start, and then you're going to back stitch, again, to make sure those stitches don't come undone. And sew all the way to the end. And then again, turn it. So now it's going to be a little bit trickier because you've got the pleated pieces there. I'm also going to add the elastic. Now, there are different ways of doing the elastic. You could actually sew this under and put a channel for the elastic. You can add a piece of bias tape afterwards and add elastic that way. There are lots of different ways. The way I have been doing it, again, because I'm making hundreds at a time, is I'm taking the elastic and just putting it underneath on the wrong side. Okay, I don't know if you could see that, and catch it. And I'm going to sew over it. I actually sewed over it maybe 3 times just to make sure it's nice and secure. Then, as you're going to sew over those pleats, you can see sewing over those pleats, okay, I'm going to get all the way to the other edge, and then I'm taking and catching the other piece of elastic underneath. And again, I'm going to catch that several times. So I'm going to sew it once, back up over it, and sew it so that it's nice and secure. I'm going to turn, I'm going to do the upper edge of the mask. And because you pinned it, you're less likely to catch some of those pleats underneath. Okay, I'm getting to the edge, and turn it. And now I'm going to use the other piece of elastic. So again, putting it underneath onto the wrong side of the mask. Sew over it, and then go back and forth just a couple of times to make that nice and secure. Then you're going to sew over, and when you get to the other end, you're going to catch the other piece. Just lift that just a smidge. Put the other piece of elastic underneath it, and then sew over that again a couple of times. Okay, and then you're going to go along the bottom edge of the mask. And again, make sure that you, at the end, when you get to the end, backstitch again so that it will keep it from unraveling. I'm just clipping those threads, and then I'm going to take out the pins that I had put in to pleat it. And believe it or not, there is your completed mask. And here's the completed mask. You see, there's the elastic. It's got great coverage. It's comfortable and easy to wear. I encourage you to have fun with fabrics and fabric choices. This is a great project. It's a great way for you to show compassion and helping others in need during this time. Thank you for joining me to support Alex's Team Foundation, and I hope you're able to take this skill and continue to make masks for your loved ones. Make sure to visit atfspiritmonth.org for different ways you can support this month. Thanks so much.